Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to study about the fungus. The kingdom fungus was created by a Whittaker, which was the third kingdom according to him. And this kingdom is multicellular with loose tissue organization. If you know the kingdom fungus term was actually given by Gaspard Bohen. You can see here the kingdom is given by the fungus term was given by Gaspard Bohen, but it was Whittaker who has created this kingdom fungus. If you are studying the fungus, that fungus study is known as mycology. The study of fungus is known as mycology, and father of Indian mycology is E.J. Butler. He is a father of Indian mycology, and father of modern mycology is H.A.T. Berry. So this is the introduction of the fungus, which is your, you can say it is a eukaryote, multicellular, and a thalloid body. So today we are going to study about the general characteristics, and we are going to focus mainly on its mycelium and the habitat where it is living, because it is in the line of the NCERT, it is focused if fungus shows diversity in morphology and habitat. So now we are going to start with the general character. See, the fungus are eukaryotes and they are achlorophyllous, means they don't have chlorophyll. So if they don't have chlorophyll, it means they will do heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, and they are non-vascular. If they are non-vascular, it means they are thalloid, non-flowering, and gametophytic means the main body will be N. Haploid body will be there. So haploid, and it is multicellular organism. This is very important line which says कि fungus shows diversity in morphology and habitat. Please focus, fungus shows diversity in morphology and habitat. Is it clear? Fungus shows diversity in morphology and habitat. Now we know very well that fungus is the one which is cosmopolitan in nature. It is found everywhere in the nature, but mainly it will be terrestrial. Though it can be found in the aquatic habitat also, it can be parasites, it can be saprophyte, it can be symbiont also. So it is cosmopolitan, found everywhere in the nature. If we start with its habitat, we will say it is cosmopolitan and it is mainly terrestrial with few aquatic and all. And saprophytic fungus. Saprophytic means those fungus which feed on dead organisms, dead and decaying organisms. So we call them as they are vegetable vulture. They are vegetable vulture. Why? Because they are helping in cleaning the earth by breaking down the dead bodies, or you can say by feeding on the dead bodies, they are helping in cleaning it. And they generally prefer to grow in the warm and humid places. So we say they shows diversity in habitat. Now see, according to the different habitat, if suppose they are growing on the food, we will say they are epixylic. If they are growing on the burnt wood, we will say xylophillus. If they are growing on the bark, we will give the name corticocolous. If they are going on cow dung, we will say coprophillus. And if they are growing on keratin, we will say keratinophillus. So these are the things for the habitat. You have to focus it. If fungus shows diversity in habitat as well as morphology. The habitat means they'll be finding in the terrestrial as well as aquatic, and they'll be showing heterotrophic mode of nutrition, whether it is parasite or saprophyte or symbiont. Every type of mode of nutrition they will show in heterotroph. Depending upon where they are found, so we have studied that they are also known as epixylic, xylophillus, corticocolous, coprophillus, and keratinophillus. These notes will be provided in the link, description will be given in the link, so you can note it down from there also. Don't worry, you just try to understand here. Now we are going to study about the thallus organization. Now see, the body of the fungus is made up of mycelium, and mycelium are nothing, they are network of hypha. This is your one hypha. This is the network, complete network. This is known as mycelium. Now, if we have to study, we will study now type of the hyphae. See the type of the hyphae. They can be multinucleate. In this condition, we will call it a senocytic hypha. Senocytic hypha means multinucleate condition, or it can be septate hypha. Septate hypha. So if I'm writing it here septate hypha, it means senocytic hypha is aseptate. So first of all, hypha can be classified depending upon the presence or absence of septa. If the septa is not present, we will call it a senocytic hypha. If septa is present, then we will call septate hypha. Now see another classification of the hypha. Now this hypha, if it is septate, then let us assume this is one hypha with septate, so it is with a simple pore. This simple pore is present in between them. So we will say septate hypha with simple pore. Or it can be hypha can be with dolipore septa. So the end are swelling up. This is known as dolipore septa. So we will call septate hypha with dolipore. Now see further classification. Further classification of the hypha will be based on the how many nucleus will be left. If suppose, let us assume we are drawing this hypha with simple pore. This is a hypha I'm drawing with simple pore. Then it can have only one nucleus in between. We will say it is primary mycelium or monokaryon. Or monokaryon. For our short form, we will just represent it as this way, 1 degree. Or it can be, we are taking the hypha with the simple pore only, but it will show 2 different type of nucleus. And such condition, we will say it is perhaps secondary mycelium. Which is also known as dikaryon, and we represent it as 2 degree. So you can see the hypha which I discussed today, how much more variation it is showing in its morphology. Now see aggregation of mycelium, how the mycelium will be aggregating. If the mycelium is aggregating as a loose tissue, see here, they'll be aggregating to form loose, compactly woven tissue-like structure. Then we call it as planktonchyma, which can be either known as prosenchyma or it is also known as pseudoparenchyma. Now see the difference. For prosenchyma, this is your, let us assume one hypha. This way the hyphas are packed. So this is your known as prosenchyma. But in case of pseudoparenchyma, diagram will be this way. You're finding only the parenchyma as a structure, but it is not parenchyma because you know very well parenchyma we study in the plant kingdom. So it is pseudoparenchyma. In case of the rhizomorph, it will give an appearance of a root-like structure. Aggregation will be there to give an appearance of root-like structure. So I'll be using different color just to explain it. See, this is your hypha, and this hypha you can understand many hyphas are there, and here you are finding they are giving an appearance as if the tip was making root tip, they are making it this way, but it is not root tip, it is actually they are having apical point. When they have apical point, we feel it is a root like, so we call it as rhizomorph. Sclerotia, it is actually again pseudoparenchymatous structure without any growing point. So it is again pseudoparenchymatous structure for Sclerotia. I'm using this color. See, it is again pseudoparenchymatous. There will be no growing point, and it is surrounded by one this way cluster. This is known as Sclerotia. And Sclerotia is generally made by the member of axon claviceps. Claviceps makes Sclerotia, and it is causing a disease that is known as ergot of Rye. Then Haustoria, if you see difference between the Haustoria and the Aprosia, try to understand what is the difference, why we are using word Haustoria and why we are using Aprosia. See, this is your one tissue. Okay, try to understand this is a tissue in which they have to penetrate. This is a plant tissue in which they are going to penetrate. Okay, so this is the fungus. The fungus will first make this structure that is known as germ tube, and it will swell up. So this swelling structure, this is known as aprosia. And from here, they will try to penetrate inside the cell, and they will make a root-like structure to draw the nourishment. So this is known as Haustoria. So Haustoria is a root-like structure which is penetrating inside for withdrawing the nourishment, or you can say to take the nourishment. And Aprosia is actually, it is a bulb-like structure. Bulb, or you can say it is a knob-like structure, which is made by the fungus before they penetrate inside it. This is your let us assume one spore or any spore, conaria or asexual spore, which we'll be discussing in the next video. So I hope up till here your concept is clear. Now see next topic. We'll be now studying about the structure of the fungus cell. Now see, this is the cell wall, fungus cell wall, and this fungus cell wall is made up of chitin. So cell wall of the fungus is made up of chitin, and chitin is actually chemical N-acetyl glucosamine. The chemical composition of chitin is N-acetyl glucosamine. This is clear. Now see, this is the cell membrane. And here the cell membrane will make, try to understand this diagram. The cell membrane will make an outgrowth, and this outgrowth is known as lomosome. So first of all, this is cell membrane. And cell membrane will make this structure that is known as lomosome. Then you will be drawing pure eukaryotic structures, means it will have in the center nucleus, you will say. Nucleus is present. Then you will draw the double membrane. You know very well nucleus is double membrane. And ER you have to draw. So first of all, let us draw the nuclear pores. These nuclear pores will be present. And at the pores, they will be united. And inside this, you will find the chromatin is present here. This is the network of chromatin. And you're finding this is nucleolus. And from the nuclear membrane, you will be drawing your we have to draw the endomembrane system. So this is your endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, this is your ER will be there, which can have the ribosomes on their surface. So there can be rough ER, they can be smooth ER also. So this side I'm drawing rough ER, and down will be smooth ER. Here main thing is this, you have to focus that they are having unicisternal Golgi body. This Golgi body, unicisternal Golgi body, is known as dictyosome. Dictyosome is a unicisternal Golgi body. This is your ear. Let me do the labeling for you here. This is your endoplasmic reticulum, and the food will be stored in the form of a glycogen. This is your food, which is stored in the form of glycogen plus oil. storing of the glycogen, which is an animal character, and presence of the cell wall, which is the plant character. You have to just remember the cell wall presence is a plant character and storage of the glycogen is an animal character. So according to the mode of nutrition, we will say they are close to the animals, but because of the presence of cell wall, they are like the plants also. This we can draw it. This is a mitochondria. We will draw it here. So it is a mitochondria which is present in them. So I think this structure of the fungus cell wall will help you to understand the topic. So let us revise once again. Let us see the slide. Body is known as mycelium, and mycelium is network of hyphae, which can be either cenocytic or it can be septate hypha. If it is septate hypha, it can be with simple pore or it can be with jolly pore, or it can be with primary mycelium or it can be with secondary mycelium. They can take the different structures. They can either make the plectenchyma, or they can make rhizomorph, or they can make sclerotia, or haustoria, or aprosoria. And this is the structure of the fungus, a typical eukaryotic cell. Only things what you have to learn is, here you have to focus of the lomosome. This structure is the things which you have to focus here, lomosome. And next is you have to focus on the unicisternal Golgi body that is known as dictyosomes. So these are the things which you have to focus. Lomosome you have to focus, and you have to focus unicisternal Golgi body, dictyosome. Otherwise, remaining structure is similar to the eukaryotic cell. Thanks for watching class. Still, if you have doubt, then you can ask me. And I'm providing the description of this topic in the PDF form. It is, the link will be provided in the description box. So you can download it if you are interested. And please mention in the comment box. Let me know how much is it helpful for you. Thanks for watching class.